You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Boss Hog of Liberty. My God. Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 281 of East Central's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell, joined today by my forever co-host, Mr. Dakota Davis, and executive video audio engineer producer, Zachary Burcham. Dakota, what are we going to do today?
Today's episode is a flashback to the early days of the podcast where we have some chicken scratch notes that Jeremiah put down on the back of a piece of scrap paper. I was busy today and didn't write show notes. That was my failure, but we're going to be talking to you guys about some different committees and different boards that are going on in the county. Corey Criswell has sent out his legislative survey for the Indiana House District. And then also Jeremiah has something written down that says nothing will change. And then we also have seasonal affective disorder. So we're going to be, ending the show on a very high note tonight.
And I threw something in there for Zach and I to have a little gripe session at the end.
I don't know what it means. So I didn't talk about it.
I refuse. Anytime there's an acronym that Dakota doesn't know what it is, after the USAC incident, he no longer tries to guess at acronyms. This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. We just did, 20 minutes or 25 minutes for the patrons, for the folks that pay the bills and make it all happen, on out-of-towners visiting downtown Indianapolis, on Dakota's upcoming birthday surprise, and, the miracle of adoption. And
yes.
And the other thing we teased last week that we're still going to continue to tease of Dakota's
Commitment.
event.
We'll say commitment.
His event that he's going to participate in. We got to thank some people.
That's right. Patreon.com/BossHog of Liberty. That is where you can go to support the show on a monthly basis, monetarily every month. They start out at around $5 a month and they go all the way up to $50 a month. If you sign up for $50 or more a month, then you get a shout out at the front of every episode. And those folks are Mr. Jonathan Phillips from our favorite car dealer in the continental United States, Mr. Anthony Meyer, who's trucking the roads and keeping your goods going to the stores this holiday season. And then, of course, the fabulous Miss Christy Avery from all the way in Fort Wayne, Indiana, our favorite Norwex dealer.
John is also a candidate for the
City Council Ward 2.
Council. Yeah. So we're keeping an eye on that as well as we get closer. There's some merch. There's some merch for the patrons that should be on the way if it's not in the mail already, right?
It's not on the way. I made a mistake. Bought the wrong size mailers. So
you didn't have all the postage on the mailers already, did you?
No. Gonna have to buy some more mailers tomorrow when I get paid. I don't have money, so it's got to wait. Sorry.
Hey, look, you're doing this out of your pocket, man. There's nobody's complaining.
Those are going to be coming out, whenever Amazon sends me the mailers, and then I'll package them up and send them. Although Audrey did package up the ones that aren't being mailed, and I will be bringing those to the studio for the Christmas episode because they're wrapped like Christmas gifts. So, Zach, Jeremiah, you guys have some Christmas gifts to deliver yourselves. That'll be fun.
That's wonderful. Looking forward to it. All right. So here's what we have planned. This is where this conversation came from. I happen to know that there's some road construction coming to Henry County. And we were talking to, I guess we'll call him an alumni, Boss Hog co-host, Cade Koger. He's, invested in this community, has a family business that's involved, at L&K Produce Stand. And I said, hey, Cade, you got some orange barrels coming your way this year. He's like, what? Huh? What? And they're going to be working on the bridge just north of the produce stand. So there's an abandoned railroad. That's the big bridge that's up around 300 north that you don't realize why there's a bridge there. Used to be a railroad there. So you go up and over. NDOT is going to do some work next year on that bridge. And we said, hey, that's cool. By the way, you're going to have like 14 foot wide between the concrete barriers. So good luck getting some of your equipment through there when that's going on. And he's like, man, it'd be great if these guys paid attention to the fact they're disrupting local businesses. Three out of 5 years or whatever that we've got all this work coming on in 3, because further south, there's going to be some major construction on the main line, State Road 3 as well. And we're not doing it all at one time. We just keep coming back in and going after it.
And man, last I heard, we still have a hole where 38 used to be over the Blue River. So
still efforting that one.
Yeah.
My day job was not involved in that particular project. So the interesting thing is that, our new state representative, Corey Criswell, representing Henry Township here, he is going to be serving on the House Roads and Transportation Committee. So we do have a local voice. The Transportation Committee is what oversees NDOT and provides for their funding and all the bills that affect them. So the folks that take care of State Road 3, State Road 103, State Road 38, US 36, US 40, all of these roads that come straight through our community. Even I-70 is maintained by NDOT. Your voice is going to be on the committee that matters. So as a community, if you've got concerns, you get somebody to talk to.
What you're telling me, though, is that there's still a chance for the 10370 interchange.
I mean, the local.
It's true.
We didn't lose a seat
if
in that.
Jerry Walden talks to
Memorial.
Corey Criswell enough.
Yeah,
it could happen.
I mean, I'll be honest. That was the first thing I thought was like, so you're telling me there's still a chance?
Corey will also be serving on the House Environmental Affairs Committee. And
the House Public Policy Committee. J.D. Prescott covers a portion of Henry County as well. I think he has Stony Creek Township, but I could be wrong. He's going to be on the House Agriculture and the Rural Development Committee, the House Judiciary Committee, and the House Ways and Means Committee. And then State Representative Brad Barrett, who I think has a portion of Liberty Township. He's going to be chairing the House Public Health Committee. He's serving on the Ag Committee and the Rural Development Committee, along with the House Insurance Committee.
This would be, it would be cool if our state rep would come on the podcast and explain this to me. I'd love to know how the committee assignments are delegated and made, because they've never met him before.
Oh, he was at Organization Day.
Okay, so that's something that happened. This is what I'm saying. I don't know how it happens.
Yeah.
He's not been to his first sessions yet. So what I don't know is like how they know who to assign to what committees. Does Corey go, transportation is really, really important to me? So they go, okay, you can be on that committee. And he's like, environmental affairs is really important to me. And they say, okay, Corey, environmental affairs, that's all you, bud.
Essentially what happens is you request committees you want to be on, and then the speaker appoints you to committees, and they have a balance between as it's made up now, the R team and the D team. They each have a certain number of people proportionally that go in these committees based upon their balance in the legislature. And they had Organization Day where they pick their speaker, and then the speaker goes ahead and makes the appointments for the R team, since it's an R speaker, and says, hey, yep, you get this one, this one, and this one. What happens is that when you get in trouble with your caucus, that's when they start to penalize you, and they say, nope, you're no longer on that committee. We're stripping you of your committee assignments. You've heard that before, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens is if you get on the wrong side, now you lose that power. And you're still a member of the House or you're a member of the Senate, but you don't get to be involved in those committee meetings where they decide what's in that specific legislation.
Gotcha.
It's a lot easier to shape a bill or adjust a bill there. So, all right.
So I wonder if there's also like different things for, any job that you go to, the new guy gets the crappy assignments. It happens anywhere in any job. I wonder if that kind of applies the same way at the state house. Like if you're a brand new elected official, if you're going to get, your requests matter less than someone who is like Tom Saunders, who had been there for decades, making requests.
The committee that everybody wants to get appointed to, you guys want to take a guess as to which one that is?
No idea.
I didn't even guess. Transportation?
No. The power of the purse strings.
Ways and Means.
Ways and Means.
I was going to say,
the ones that set the budget.
I knew congressionally Ways and Means that's a huge committee to get on.
I just thought infrastructure, people would, especially right now with all the projects.
Yeah, if you can
going
funnel
on.
money into your home district for road projects, then that's some killer power. At least that's killer power to get voted back in. Like you can directly serve your constituents in a way that will make them happy enough to vote for you again. But Ways and Means is the same thing. It's you can just funnel money around, but just without necessarily being for roads.
Yeah, I would say Ways and Means is probably the most desirable committee when these guys are making their requests. And that's what happens. You're trying to get on the right side of the speaker. So you're doing favors to the speaker, to the people in power that are making those decisions. You're trying to be likable so that you get you get appointed to the stuff that matters to you.
Right. And Tom's kind of touched on that a lot before.
Yeah, he wound up in the penalty box a number of times over the years. So in our mailboxes this week, our new representative Criswell sent us some mailers, and the way these work is there's a pool of questions that comes out, and the legislators are allowed to choose certain questions out of the pool and say, here's what I want to ask about, or here are the things that I want to know about from my district. And I'm very interested to see what these results are. But also the choice of the questions that you see kind of gives you an idea of what the legislator might be thinking about, what priorities they might have, and trying to get a baseline for information. So the first question that Representative Criswell selected said that there was a recent nonpartisan study commissioned by the Legislative Services Agency dealing with Indiana healthcare spending being nearly 4% higher than comparable states and has increased faster over the last decade. Should Indiana take more action to limit the out-of-control costs of healthcare? So people want to know, basically they're polling to see if government should get more involved with healthcare costs in the state of Indiana.
It's kind of it's interesting how that question is written to me.
Yeah, you can write. And once again, they're from a bank of questions, so it's not like any individual legislator writes the question. They just get to pick it. The next one is dealing with a school issue, saying that it's essentially asking, do you want there to be legislation prioritizing how school resources are used if they go to classrooms, teacher pay, salaries? How do you want money involved? Basically, do you want the state legislature saying where pay has to go, or if you don't do that, then I would assume it would fall to the school boards, would be the other side of it. He asked a question about should Indiana do more to ensure every community has access to fast, reliable broadband. Do more is always an interesting thought, Zach.
Yeah.
Should we do more? And then the two that told me something here, the ones that were just not generic, flyby, whatever. Question number 4, do you support the legalization of marijuana? Yes, no, undecided. And the other question that we asked on this show of every candidate that came through the door, do you support the legislation of medical marijuana? Yes, no, undecided. I'm curious to see what our state representative's opinion is on this, because I've not heard it yet myself of either of these. I want to see what the survey says, but I also want to hear what our state representative's actual opinion is. So what do you think this tells us, Dakota? Anything?
I did think it was interesting he picked the which education question he did pick, because that's something that we didn't really address head on, but it was something that I was looking for, this idea that the state should mandate to school corporations how much of their budget needs to be spent in which areas. And it was something that I was interested to see if any candidates brought up. That's why I didn't bring it up in show notes ourselves. So I thought it was interesting that was put in there, because it was already a thought that I had in my head. And then the fact that, for a very short survey, he picked out 2 questions.
40% of the survey is dealing with cannabis.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
I think that gives me the idea that, once again, we have a Republican General Assembly But as you're getting people from this next generation in, maybe you have some more open-minded thought, or at least we're going to have this conversation.
Right. Well, and more and more like law enforcement officials have been talking about how they kind of view it as a waste of time to be dealing with marijuana arrests, marijuana charges. It takes away from their already very busy schedules that they are trying to adhere to, every single law that they're trying to enforce already. And then you kind of get into this weird area where if a cop lets one person go, then they don't let the next person go.
That's
such a moral gray area.
If you take that just legalize it and move on, we can all move on with our lives. And we don't have to keep talking about the damn thing.
Right. I mean, ask any cop who they would rather have to deal with on a Saturday night. A drunk guy or a guy high. They're all going to say the dude that's high on weed. No, everyone hates dealing with a drunk person. Everyone, let alone a cop, because if they're there, they're probably aggressive. They're probably not a happy drunk if the cops have to be called. So, I just think it's time. I don't think it should be a partisan issue. It seems ridiculous. If the Republicans want to say that they support the police, then, well, I mean, maybe the police unions have an official position, but I know that that's not the personal position of a lot of law enforcement personnel that I personally know.
You're out here promoting your cannabis in a Morrell Haggard t-shirt right now.
Mama tried. It says, I'm the guy that's been getting drug tested since I was 18.
The irony of Morrell Haggard hanging around with Dick Nixon and his war on drugs, and here you are promoting cannabis reform with your Morrell Haggard t-shirt is cracking me up today. All right, so let's shelf this idea. We're going to come back to it. We're going to watch the Legislative Assembly as things come along. And as we get into January and February, March, this is the long session coming up. That's going to be one of the themes of the show throughout the spring. Next week we're going to do a little Christmas episode, so we're going to have a little bit more fun that way. Or at least Patreon will be Christmas. Next week's actually going to be a total change up. Going to be another version of Boss Hog we've done before, but something different. Last week's show, when we spoke with I want to say city councilman Peckinpah, we were all excited about this prospect of a new neighborhood being built.
Yes.
Just alongside Raintree Heights, a couple miles north of town in Henry County. And on paper, it all seemed like it would be smooth sailing, Dakota. You're putting a neighborhood in. We need to grow the tax base. Everybody's excited. Somebody wants to develop some property. There's city sewer, city water out there. It's alongside. It's surrounded by homes. What could possibly go wrong?
Rex had some reservations about needing to make sure that the city wasn't going to be spending too much money on putting the infrastructure there, and then no one moves there.
Well, so, I think if I remember correctly, Rex said he was concerned that people would move out of the city to move there. His big concern was that you're going to drain the core population of the city.
Yeah.
So they had a planning commission meeting tonight at the courthouse. It was still going on when we went on the air today, but I got to listen to about an hour and a half of it. And the committee heard testimony from the developer. They heard testimony from the city, from Mayor York, who apparently in his statement today, he said there are 7 residential developments that are starting in Henry Township. Zach, are you hearing this? 7 of them being built. 6 of them are in city limits. This one here that we're discussing,
just outside,
is actually in the county. So the county zoning affects one of these 7 proposed places. It's currently zoned for rural residential, which means that any homes would have to be on an 1.5 acre lot or larger. But they're looking at changing it to an R1 or an R2, which allows for smaller lot sizes, which is what a lot of the other homes in the area are. I think I live in an R1 in the White Estates area. I think Raintree Heights is an R1. So they would be making it match that. The number of people with an opinion that found a way to be upset over homes being built in this community, Dakota. I'm always surprised. I'm always surprised at how we come up with the reasons why we don't want to change anything.
What? I'm surprised that you're surprised. You should know better.
I know. It didn't occur to me. Last week I thought this is great. What could possibly go wrong?
I mean, you looked at the chunk of land and you don't even know it's there. I was just looking up, just trying to double check like where it was and like trying to its relation to neighboring neighborhoods. Like for the general public, they will not even know that this development goes in because you can't see it. The access won't be off of a road that anybody is on generally, unless you're going to or from a place of incarceration. You're not. So you think, who could be upset about it? It's not going to affect that many people.
So here we go. Here's the bingo card for the things that were said by the public, the general public, in objection to the construction of this new property. This property, it's 18 acres, and in theory, it would have up to 130 residences in it. Some of those being duplexes, some being single family residences. The developer says price point is between $250,000 and $350,000. The concerns from the citizens included, you're going to drive down my property value by building houses that are too cheap next to me. Because I have a $400,000 house and you're going to build a $150,000, $200,000 house to it next to it. So you're going to ruin my property value, Dakota, when you move in here.
Are there $400,000 houses out there?
I'm trying to look. That's when we should have a.
Well, I mean,
everything's worth $400,000 now,
based on recent sales.
So that's step one. There are some folk that apparently this neighborhood wants to have their entrance off of County Road 200 North, which is the road that has a stoplight on State Road 3. So at first glance, I think that's spectacular, right? There's nobody turning left across the highway. Nobody's coming in and out, getting in trouble. Well, the complaints are, well, there's too much traffic on the road now. You guys put a prison next to my neighborhood, and there's all these cops flying up and down the road. The road's only 20 feet wide. It's not improved. Nobody's helped it. Nobody's fixed it. So I don't have enough road here to deal with all this traffic you're going to bring in here.
That's a fair concern. Maybe the county could go, okay, we should prioritize this road next year.
Okay. But if you have a road that's only 10 feet wide in a lane, right? Do you want are these neighbors going to want to lose 2 more feet of their yard on either side so that they make a wider road?
No. I'm not saying make it wider. Just,
the county did assure them that they would repave it.
Okay. Yeah.
That it would get paved.
Price is solved.
Okay. All right. So you're okay with that one. Mm-hmm. How about the neighbors that say, I've lived here for 20, 30, 40 years and my backyard has always been a farm behind me. And now you're going to ruin that for me. And I have to look at somebody else's house. I live in the country, I bought a house in the country. And now I have to look at somebody's house behind my house.
Deal with it, dude. My high school history teacher built a house right behind my house. There used to be woods there. Now there's a house that my high school history teacher lives in.
And that's also something that
it happens everywhere.
It's a house that's
part of it.
Like you'll be able to you could see through some of the yards of the nearby houses to a highway. And so anytime you buy a house that's within spitting distance of a highway, then there's a chance of development.
For sure.
So you do have.
By the way, I'm not complaining about the house behind me. They're good neighbors.
You're just saying, stuff changes.
Yeah.
So there's a house.
It happens.
So, okay, yeah. Your pristine house is alongside of a 5-lane wide state highway, but in between your house sits between a state prison and a state highway, and you're upset over the traffic coming in and out, right? All right. So that was.
It's like 100. You're going to add what, 200 people probably.
I mean, if you have 130 households, I would say 2.5 people per household, so maybe 300 people would be added in. You're gonna have people. You're gonna have trash trucks.
That's pretty significant.
You're growing the community. Next complaint that was heard, people said this thing is landlocked. I was promised that they could. There's a lot of I was promised. I was told. No, don't tell anybody who you were told by, but I was told. I was told it's landlocked, so they can't build there.
Just like you were told that your front yard wouldn't smell like sewage.
Still efforting. I was told that there's a spring in it and you can't build on it. And there's an ordinance that says that. But they don't know what the ordinance is. They don't know what the ordinance is, and they want somebody else to figure it out for them. But I was told.
What an odd thing to bring up at a meeting. Why wouldn't you just look it up? You can look up ordinances.
Don't know that it exists. So that was on the list of protests.
That one's odd. That one's weird to me. I don't understand it. I was told that there's a natural spring and you can't build on it. Surely a land developer would have looked. That doesn't make any sense. I don't. That's a waste of time.
And then there's concern over the density, right? A lot of people were complaining about there's just going to be too many houses back there. Too many houses. And you're going to try to make money by selling this property that's behind me.
Okay.
What buffer am I going to have? There's going to be too many houses back there. You're going to ruin my way of life, Dakota.
It's because this idea of 130 units, and then you go, they're duplexes. What's that look like with duplexes?
Well, if they're duplexes, but the targeted price point is $250,000 to $350,000,
right. So then
they're going to be nice, right?
What I'm going to say is, like, take a drive for these people. Let's just right down the road. Take a drive down to the Wildwood addition, which is just to the north side of Memorial Park, right? No, to the south side of Memorial Park, and take a look at those duplexes. They're very nice. It's a really nice neighborhood. And most of those houses are duplexes. And I think that if you are looking at, multi-unit development coming to your neighborhood, that is the ideal situation.
If you buy a house and there's nothing developed behind it, should you have any expectation that it's never going to be developed in your lifetime?
No, I mean, I have full expectations that the cornfield across the street from my house will be developed, which is why I've often thought about reaching out to the farmer that owns it and saying, if you ever think of selling, hit me up, because I know that that's probably prime real estate right there to be developed in the future.
There was a property owner in this that said, I think it's disrespectful to me for you to want to build there. You're not respecting me as a neighbor because you want to develop this property over there.
Not respecting me as a neighbor because you want to give me neighbors.
Now I'm going to say this because I was just doing the math. And if you split it, and some of them will be duplexes, you split it up like 130 ways. That's like about a little over 1/10 of an acre for each one. That's about the size of my lot.
Yeah.
Now this week's real estate movements aside, I want to see you stick $250,000 house on a just over 1/10 of an acre lot and make it $350,000.
Right.
Well, I think that would be the smallest they would possibly go with them. But everything that is their top end. I think they're probably looking at half that is the actual number.
The Courier article, it said 110.
Yeah, I thought I saw 110, 111. So that would be a little bit bigger. But I'm just saying, just like I would.
And I'm sure some lots will be bigger, some will be smaller.
Some people, I know,
might have a couple of little like 1-bedroom houses thrown in there.
I know some people that live in a neighborhood across, like in that very, very close area. It would be like a mirror image to that neighborhood, basically. And their dad built there, and he bought the lot next to him when he built, because he's like, I don't want a neighbor. So to control that, he bought the property, and so he has a buffer. So that's what some of these people should do, is if you want to control the land that you're staring at, buy it, and then you control it.
And you have to own it.
Yeah.
So,
listen, I work in Noblesville and Carmel, somewhat frequently for work, and driving through there, it's constant. You just are constantly seeing like older houses being torn down, and then giant monolithic housing additions being built there. Places that used to be cornfields, places that when I was hired and I worked in Noblesville full time for a few months,
there was nothing
places
there yet.
that I remember there being cornfields. There are now dozens of homes.
Yeah, you're in subdivision after subdivision.
Right.
It's daisy chain together.
It's what happens. There's a lot of people. And listen, Governor Holcomb, say what you want to about him. He had this gigantic initiative about trying to get people to move to the state of Indiana. so far it's worked. A lot of places like that, Carmel, Noblesville area, that's where a lot of people have been attracted to. Now, because of the housing market being the way it was and the way it is with interest rates right now, places like Henry County are looking more and more attractive as affordable places to live if you're looking for somewhere in Indiana.
As a community, we're begging for, we literally have a county initiative that says, make my move, right? You got to make my move and you can move to Henry County and we are going to pay you to move here.
Right.
And they're trying to build housing stock so that people can move here. In
and
a place
I get
that
it.
you've got sewer, water, you've got all the utilities that you need to put in a top end neighborhood.
Would I be happy if the 2 cornfields across the street from my house all of a sudden turned into a housing addition that was depressing to look at because the architecture of every building looks exactly the same? No, I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be super pumped about it, but I would be like, well, it's just how it is.
It's progress.
It's the way it is.
Yeah. As we have communities,
I'm not going to try to stop it from happening.
As we have communities that are aging and you've got problems maintaining what we have, and counties they don't have the tax base, right? They don't have the tax base to maintain the services, to pay for the things we talk about on this show, fixing county buildings, paying for trails, paving 800 miles of county road. The issues go over and over again. Funding ambulances, paying for sheriff's departments, paying for, all of these, you name it. Good drainage, right? All the stuff that folks actually care about. That all improves when you build houses and your community gets larger. And we've had essentially 40 years of a population of 48 to 50,000 people. And now you've got folks that are trying to come in and build homes. And we are, as a community, saying, I don't want to do that. So here's the end result. Tonight they said, we're going to table this. The Planning Commission listened to the concerns and they said they want more information from this developer. The problem the developer has is that they could build houses there, but they'd have to be 1.5 acres apiece right now with the way the zoning is. So you could put maybe 10 homes in there, which doesn't get you to the scale that you need to have to be able to make a development of this scale work. So you have to build roads that essentially the developer has to pay for a survey for drainage. They have to build retention ponds. They have to do curbing, pay for brand new asphalt. I'll put in all the utilities to tie in, run your power lines. Everything would have to be done by this developer. And then you sell those homes. And if you're going to sell, say you only sell 10 homes at $400,000 a piece, it's only $4 million. So that doesn't cover it, right? You got to pay for the property. You got to pay for all the stuff. You're not going to be worth your while. Yep. So you have to have some sort of a different number. What that is, you don't know. But without this planning or without this committee being able to say yes, then the project dies and the homes don't come here.
Yep. You want more? You want your road paved? You need more people to move here.
You want better schools? You want to solve school funding? Get more kids, right? Yeah, I mean that's you got to be attractive to families and for people to come here.
Especially a new kid comes into a school, and that's like not a little bit. That's like a real number. Like they get thousands of dollars per kid to have the kid in the school. So yeah, then the people plate their vehicles and they pay gas taxes and they pay wheel taxes on their plates and
beverage tax.
Yeah, they go down to B-Dubs, get some beverage tax in there. We love food and beverage tax here.
All right. This next little section is just my personal complaint. And it's not a complaint. It's just we are in the shortest daylight week of the year. When we come back here next week, it will be which day? What day is our next show here, Dakota? The 22nd?
22nd.
Yeah, so it will the days will be longer. By the time we come back here, we will be back on the upswing. It'll officially be winter, but the days will be getting longer. So this is the time of the year where everybody just has a little bit. Maybe this is the problem. Maybe this is why the NIMBY crowd was the way they are today, is because they haven't had enough daylight, Dakota. It's been dreary, it's been rainy, it's been depressing, and the sun sets at 5:25 in the afternoon.
And that's
so darkness.
That's if you get to see the sun.
I left my sunglasses in the other vehicle on Saturday, and I haven't needed them.
Yeah.
It's Thursday now. I haven't seen the sun. I think it was out for about 20 minutes this afternoon.
Last Friday, I was driving around and I saw shadows. And I was like, oh, look, the sun's out. I never got to see the sun, though. It was in a different direction than I was driving. And then today, I saw blue skies. I knew that there was some clearing because I could see the sky this morning when I was running. But that was well in the dark period. And I saw something like, oh, but I never actually saw the sun. We went straight into, it feels like 2 weeks ago was the fall and it was gorgeous and it was nice. And then now we're into all the leaves are down. It's gray. It's dead. It's damp.
Please give us some snow.
Yeah, snow at least. People complain about snow. Some people don't like snow.
When you get the snow, it reflects.
It also just looks nicer.
Right.
It's a nice, clean white slate as opposed to dead brown grass or whatever's going
Muddy.
on. So, yeah.
Gross.
Yep. Have you guys ever considered these lights, these seasonal affective disorder lights you can get in your house? Are you aware of this product? This feels like a Dakota Davis thing.
Hold on. I know a lot about this.
I felt like this is going to be Dakota's wheelhouse.
Okay. So actually light viewing is pretty important to your brain health and mental health as far as the way you feel every day. There's a big correlation between mental health disorders and also morning sunlight viewing and how it affects your circadian rhythm. So a really good thing that people should do is within an hour or two of waking, just go outside for 20 minutes and just be outside to get the photons from the sun into your eyes, even if it's kind of an overcast day. Or if it's an overcast day, you should be out there longer.
What if you wake up at 5 a.m. and the sun doesn't come up for 3 hours to go to what the hell are you supposed to do then?
If your alarm is set for 4:15, then you need artificial photons to be put in your eyes. And they make...
Does that upset the wife? If you have an artificial photon light machine in the room.
So here's my hack. There's glasses which I put on my Christmas wish list, but I think this is the second year they've been on there, so I don't think. But they basically go around your face, and they have these basically the seasonal affective disorder lights, but have a green tint to them, which they said do something. I don't know, but they shine basically to the bottom of your eyelid to where you're not, it's not shining directly into your pupils, but you're getting that photon wash into your eye as soon as you wake up. And you can just I'll be able to, this is why I like this, because as soon as I wake up, I'm going pee, I'm putting on deodorant, I'm spraying water on my face to get woken up. And then I'm going outside, letting chickens out, cleaning their water, taking the dogs outside, feeding the dogs, making my wife's coffee, making my protein shake. There's a lot of things I do in the morning. With the glasses, just throw those babies on, do all that stuff. But they're expensive. They're like $180. And I'm not a rich man, so I can't just be buying that stuff. So, Andrew Huberman, professor of neuroscience and ophthalmology at Stanford, he says to buy one of those boxes that artists used to trace. They used to trace images.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Did you have those in elementary school?
A light bright?
It's a box that's just got light bulbs in it and basically a piece of plastic over the top of it and just kind of stare into it. He says that's the cheapest option versus buying a light therapy device.
So it's a little bit like an overhead projector kind of thing where it's a translucent side. I never seen one. I don't think we didn't use them in school.
I'm seeing
these are it's literally just a box. It's got a piece of plastic on top and there's light bulbs inside. You put a piece of paper on it that's got a picture on it. And then you put another piece of paper that's blank on top of that picture and you can trace it.
I'm seeing that you can get one of these 10,000 lux light therapy boxes for $30.
Right.
$35. And you can solve your depression.
You want to know what my solution is, Jeremiah?
You've got some sort of goggles you're wanting to wear around like
those
a nerd.
Those are what I really want. But here's what I do every day. I've been doing it for months, like since probably this whole year, actually. Maybe.
I mean, are you overdoing it in June? You don't need this.
No, you do need it. I mean, it's
the sun's
seasonal
up like
affective
18
disorder.
hours a day.
Seasonal affective disorder is more severe, but what this helps with is setting your whole circadian rhythm. So if you're like me and you try to wake up,
I no longer trust you. You've gone crazy on me.
If you try to wake up really early in the morning and you need to, and it's difficult, then like for me, I wake up at 4:15. My alarm goes off at 4:15. My body needs to get into that rhythm to where I'm awake at 4:15, and then 16 hours later, my brain starts to produce more melatonin, and I can naturally put myself to sleep. That's difficult if you're constantly going in and out of different cycles. So like that's why I try not to sleep in super late on the weekends, because that can really mess things up. But here's my solution to the light. Instead of having the goggles, I walk around like this every morning. I just do this.
You are like so he's taking his cell phone and
walk around with my phone light.
You are like, so
right,
do you think,
pointed right at my nose.
All right. So the way Dakota's doing this is he's basically lighting himself up like he's a YouTube star.
Yeah.
Do you think that,
or he's telling scary stories at a campfire?
Do you think that all of these creators on Instagram are happier because they have lights in their face the entire time? Do you think they're beating seasonal affective disorder because they're special? Because they're getting the clicks? Inadvertently, because they've got these lights on them, they're happier?
So it's interesting that I didn't see you wrote down seasonal affective disorder for the notes tonight. I didn't know that that's where you were taking it, because I've never made the correlation with my mood. I know Andrew Huberman's talked about it some. I've never noticed a difference with my mood. I do know for a fact that whenever I started shining my flashlight in my face every morning, I get to bed earlier, and when I need to be going to bed, and I wake up easier.
What about people like me that suffer from migraines? If you listen to the Patreon, you flash a light in my eye, and I
do that.
I'm going straight back to bed.
But you don't wake up as early as I do. You have that opportunity that within 2 hours of waking, because you said what, your alarm goes off at like 7?
Yeah. Well, no. The alarm goes off at 6:15. I rise around 7.
Okay.
Yes.
So you get up around 7.
My bride suffers through 6 different, give me 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Occurrences.
So I'm going to question about your technique. Do you have one alarm and you repeatedly hit the snooze, or do you have like 6 alarms?
I use Google. So every evening before I go to bed, I declare to Google when I would like it to wake me up. And it's never the same. It might be 6:15, it might be 6:40. It just depends upon what I think I have going on the next day. Because sometimes I travel for my job and I have to get up at 5 and leave.
Dakota, this goes into your rhythms thing.
And
he gets up
there's some randomness to it. And then there will be days where I'm actually up at 6:40, and there's days where I can squeeze it out till 7:05 and still be fine.
Albin, I'm not great though. I have 4 different times I get up in 5 days, depending on how far I'm running, remote or not remote. And yeah, just generally like what day it is.
I don't know that we're machines that have to wake up at the. Now, all of that said, 6:50, I'm up whether I set an alarm or not. My body is waking me up at 6:50.
That's your natural rhythm.
Yeah.
6:50. Yeah. I can be all over the place. That's why I started really looking into this, because I can.
Now, it took me a month and a half to retrain 6:50 after we did the bullshit time change in November, but we're there again now.
I can see. I didn't have anything set where I'd be forcing myself awake at 4:15 based on sheer willpower, just like basically making myself do it. And then the weekends would come, and if Jackson slept in until 8:30 or 9 o'clock on a Saturday, then I would also be sleeping in that long. And then come Monday morning, everything's so thrown out of whack because, I wake up at 9 on a Saturday. I don't feel like going to bed at 9 p.m. on Saturday. I'm going to stay up until midnight, and then that throws off Sunday, and then Sunday night is going to be weird. And then all of a sudden I'm trying to wake up at 4:15 on Monday.
You're trying to structure your life like you're a toddler. Like you're trying to set yourself up the same way as you are a 4-year-old.
That's why I'm saying I had a problem and it needed fixed. This fixed it.
During the week, I go to bed at like 10 o'clock. On the weekend, I'll stay up till like midnight. And then Sunday night, I can't go to bed.
Right.
And then my alarm goes off Monday at 5:05. And I'm like, I want to die. And it takes till, and then because the next day it goes off at 4:45 because I run a little longer on Tuesdays. So yeah, so I run into that, and it's been a super common thing. Like, and I kind of always do that. Like everybody else goes to bed, and I can just stay up and like watch a movie or whatever, and not get bugged. And because my kids are up when I get up. Like one of my sons beat me up this morning, and I got up at 4:50.
You have the weirdest children in the world.
Yeah, he was up watching TV at 4:50 in the morning. I was like, I know he woke up because if you check local listings for this date for the night of the 14th into the 15th, at like 3 o'clock in the morning, we had a freight train of a weather front move through, and it felt like my house was going to get blown off the foundation momentarily. And he is scared to death of See Past episode Tree Fall on Camper. He is very concerned about the life of trees, if they're dead or not. And then if it's windy, he is up. So I kind of understood why he was up. But yeah, but Sunday nights, I will lay down and I'll like close my eyes. And then like 15 minutes later, I just open them up. Like it's just a switch. I'm like, I'm not going to bed anytime soon.
Yeah. Getting my circadian rhythm set. And I didn't do anything. I don't take any sleep supplements. I don't do any of that. I tried. Andrew Huberman also has a sleep stack. Like there's supplements that he takes.
Oh, they're always selling you something, Dakota.
He doesn't actually sell them, which is why I trust him. He doesn't sell the supplements himself. He just says that.
He doesn't have a discount code either?
No, nothing.
That's good.
He's probably just paid by the supplement company.
He's telling you what the drug name is, but he's not telling you what supplement company that he buys it from.
No, there's just probably one big one that you go to.
I did that. I took his stack. I found it. Someone makes notes on Reddit, and I was like, okay, buy those. And then I found that there's a company that's like advertising. They sell it all. It's like all in one pill, and they're selling it. They're using his name, which is wild to me. And it's because then at the bottom there's a disclaimer. Not associated with Andrew Huberman, but if you look for it on Google, it's like Andrew Huberman's sleep stack, and I didn't take that one because that seemed fishy. I was like, that seems not right.
Buying random pills on the internet's fishy.
Well, that just when they're
Walmart.
Like using a guy's name but not like officially affiliated
but then they
with
have
them.
To put the disclaimer like, by the way,
they're already shady. They're overarching marketing plan is shady.
Because he does say in his episodes, if he tells you about a supplement, he's like, I am not associated with any supplement companies. And it's because there's people like that out there that are just grifting off of his name. But anyway, I took it and it knocked me out so hard I couldn't wake up the next day. It was awful. I was dead. There's no melatonin in it either. It was just other stuff.
Yeah, melatonin doesn't help me at all. It might make me groggy the next day.
I'm telling you, the light shining the flashlight in my face, it looks weird. I'm sure I look weird walking out to my chickens with a flashlight in my face.
Well, until you get all those neighbors across the road, you don't have to worry about it.
But it works, man. It really works. I swear by it. I really do want the glasses a lot because it would make it easier to free up a hand. But it's one of those things I'm not going to buy it myself, but if someone else bought it for me,
What if you went full redneck engineering and you bought yourself, you got an old hard hat laying around?
Mm-hmm. A few.
All right. And then you go down to Tractor Supply, and this time of the year, they've got the flashlights, the real bright flashlights for like $2-3. And you start drilling, you get a little clip and some sort of a wire device. Maybe you go down to the hardware section and you wire up 2 or 3 of these lights so that they hit you in the face, and you can strap your hard hat on, and then you can go do chores, and you just got the bright lights in your face.
That's not a bad idea. Maybe not a hard hat, but a regular hat.
No, I like the hard hat because it's good. It's plastic and rigid. The problem with
the hard hat is like, where am I going to put it?
You hang it by the door for chores, and then you wear it around the house like a crazy person. I'm thinking Chuck McGill style, like something Chuck would have done in Better Call Saul.
You're gonna have him dressed up like an anglerfish.
Yeah.
You ever seen Anglerfish?
Yeah.
Anglerfish had the little light that
Yeah.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Exactly.
Yep.
That's basically what I'm doing anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With my hand.
I think we just suspend
like
like
this.
3 of them on the hat.
My problem is I'm using my cell phone flashlight to negotiate my house in the morning, so it has to be aimed down so I don't kick or trip on a Lego or a pair of errant shoes or whatever my kids have left
Yeah.
out.
All right.
I feel that pain too.
Yeah.
Story time here. This is the topic that Dakota was too afraid to discuss. The world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, is hosting a sports car race in September. It's called IMSA, which is NASCAR is the owner of this division, but they're basically North America's big sports car series. They're going to come to Indianapolis for a 3-day weekend, and they're going to use the road course. And last year they promised that Zach's favorite thing at the Speedway was coming back, infield camping. 3 years, Zach, you got to camp.
Yeah. 3 beautiful, glorious years.
Along the racetrack,
Yep.
right on the fence.
Yep.
You were very happy.
I was ecstatic. It was the greatest weekend of my life. I was on the news like 8 times the first weekend.
This has made Zach a national landmark.
Yeah. I hung out with Rafael Sanchez, Dave Calabro, and just a bunch of
Raphael
other people.
stole your spatula, and you still complain to this day.
Burned some brats because he stole my cooking utensils.
Well, if the Speedway gets their way with the plan they've rolled out for this IMSA weekend, the people that Raphael steals from in the future will be able to afford a new spatula.
Absolutely. They won't even notice. As a matter of fact, it won't steal their spatula. He'll steal their chef's spatula.
So what did it cost in the glory days to camp at the Speedway when they rolled this out?
I believe I paid $180 to park in the infield. And I understood at the time that it was probably undervalued and at some point it was going to go up. But
Zach,
it was under $200.
Zach paid $200 for this. Dakota, what price point do you think has Zach and I freaking the hell out?
I already know the answer.
You know
I
the
saw your
number.
messages.
Okay. $1,400 or $1,500 to be in the exact same area that Zach was
I've never
in.
been so excited and then had my excitement dashed so quickly as to see that they wanted to more than double the amount of money that they get from me just to camp for a weekend.
My entire month of May
Yeah.
costs less than $1,500.
And that's, yeah.
And I'm out there 3 weekends. I have grid access for the Indy 500. I've got grid access for the Grand Prix. I can go through the garage area anytime I want to. I've got my wife's tickets, my tickets, the race tickets, the whole thing. Less than $1,500.
I think that's more than my family's, and we have 2 campsites for the race weekend, and 6 tickets, and
we're in the program.
Are kind of different, but so much. And then I was trying to figure out, look on the map, there's a section over here that's different. What's that? Because all this was with electric, and they do charge a premium for electric. Like it normally doubles the cost of the camping. Because they bring in generators or whatever. And there's a pop-up area. I'm not sure what denotes a pop-up. Like I would hang a pup tent off the side of my trailer if that denoted it as a pop-up. That camping, which is primitive, non-electric, is $700.
$900.
It was $900 over
$900
over in the turn 3 infield.
Yeah.
So the not track side, potentially blocked by a dirt track that they built there, but just kind of, I was shattered.
That seems insane.
And what was a real bummer is that we never got to.
You never got to say goodbye, did you?
I never. Yeah, I like to have had one more year of the infield and say, hey, this is the last year we're going to do it, but you guys were really good because we were all patient and we're nice about asking about the list or whatever through COVID because they couldn't do it through COVID or whatever, and we were super. I mean, I was trying to be the most well behaved human being ever those weekends. And I just want one more trip back so I can tow my camper through the South Tunnel and get a picture of it in front of the pagoda and stuff. And just, never again. Cause I don't have that kind of money. I have to win the lottery.
Here's my contention. $1,500 is the camper payment for the majority of the people that come to the Speedway that are the bread and butter folks that come. $1,500 covers the cost of their rig for the year.
Yeah. In comparison, there's one outside the track option in lot 2, which is where we spend actually more of our May now than I used to spend a lot of it in lot 6. It's $145 there.
I bought my ticket today. My pass today.
So to move from the outside to the inside only costs you about 1,000% more. So, yeah,
it's insane.
And then Jeremiah immediately is like, "Is this a mistake?" and tweeted at the track, and it got a response from the El Presidente Doug in 2 minutes.
No mistake.
This is going to be a totally different experience. I was like, what about us that were like, that experience of the GP was the greatest weekend of our lives. Like, I had the greatest time. Yeah.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
I raised a bit of a stink today over it, and I made my complaints, and we'll see if I'm heard or not. I am going to be very interested next September to see who in the hell, if anybody, actually occupied it, because it's not going to be the meat and potatoes race fans like Zach.
No.
It's going to be either, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's going to be $1 million rigs. There's no way that it's going to be people with a travel rig.
It's going to be a bunch of like Class A rigs.
So it's not going to be your traditional campers. I'm sure there are some folks that will pay it, that'll pay anything, but it's not going to be the people around here. And it's just going to be a different vibe.
I would have expected, I'll be honest, like when we were, the last year we camped in the infield, I thought, man, this is eventually, they're going to catch up with us on this. I actually thought it was a little cheap. Like I know Road America, I think it's about $300 to be trackside. Mid Ohio,
$300 is a fair number. I would pay $300.
Expecting three, maybe $4. If they said like to reserve a trackside spot in a good, like on the, where the cars go by kind of thing. But $1,400. I was like, I mean, that for comparison's sake, that is like 20 weekends at state parks, 20 different weekends. That's your whole summer. You could spend your whole summer camping every weekend at a different state park and not spend $1,400.
The ask is just unreal, right? People have a $15,000 to $25,000 rig. So you want them to spend 10% of the value of their rig on one weekend of camping. That's what they're asking for. And we fly the IMS flag. We've got, we promote the thing like crazy. But Zach, we are not the demographic that they're looking for that area.
I guess it's either they're going for that Corvette, Ferrari, Cart Corral people that are bringing in their 458 Italia on a trailer behind the motorhome.
We'll see. It's going to be the gentleman drivers that are funding the race teams. And that's why I was like, maybe they just made a mistake. Maybe they didn't mean to publish this for the regular fans, and this is for the team owners, right? Like, that's not. I don't think that's what it is either. Pop-ups. No.
I would think if I was going to spend $1,400, I'm staying at the J-Dub or at the Hilton or something. I want room service. Like
a mini bar.
I'm going to spend for 2 nights. Man, I'll go stay at Great Wolf Lodge and drive in, still save money. Great Wolf Lodge is extortion.
I'll go to IRP. $1,400. I'll go to IRP. Free camping there.
How much is it at Camp Bremer? I bet it's under $1,400 at Camp Bremer.
$1,400. Camp Bremer would probably put in permanent electric hookups for us.
Yeah, and sewer. He'd dig up his whole yard for us.
All right, let's get to ourselves to final thoughts. Zachary, you got anything prepared?
No,
I have
really.
JMV. You're a big fan of JMV, or you're aware? You're not.
Yeah, I'm aware.
You liked him more than Dan Dockich.
Yeah, I had not heard. Dan Dockich is one of those people that I could listen to 6 seconds of him talk and be like, I don't need to hear any more of this guy. He was he a former IU player?
He played for he played for IU.
That was the greatest moments of his life. I guarantee you. He probably wears his leather jacket out.
JMV, the afternoon drive host today, had a tweet today that said, "Noodles belong in Chile," and I thought, dude,
he's right.
That is one of the top 3 quickest ways to start a fight in Indiana.
Good for him.
Top 3.
Who
instantly.
Cares? Like I don't really eat chili.
I feel like it's a slow call-in day on the radio station, so we're gonna go chili. We're gonna talk about chili.
I like GMV enough. I've got his feed. They'll podcast out his segments, and I'll try and periodically check him for IndyCar people because he'll have IndyCar people on there, and he's educated enough to have a good conversation with an IndyCar person. So I don't really eat chili. I don't like chili necessarily. I've eaten this once in a while. So, but I like, why is that just one of those things that everybody can agree that it's a canvas by which you can make your own creation within
that's what makes it so good.
Within some general parameters. And the noodles, not noodles, beans, no beans, whatever that is, that's all up to you. It's like pizza, soup.
Dakota, your wife today asked
beef noodles, beans, tomatoes, green chilies, jalapenos. That's mine.
Yeah, Dakota and I could be friends. The chili shouldn't have the noodles, but whatever. I've grown to accept that some people make that mistake.
They're pretty small amount of noodles.
Dakota,
I'm not big on a lot.
You're not that poor. You don't have to. You put the noodles in to stretch it. You can.
I even reserve 2 ladlefuls of the ground beef from the bottom of the pot before I put the tomato sauce in or the tomato juice in, just for my own bowl, because like Audrey likes hers kind of soupy, and I like a lot of beef in mine. So
here's the difference: you make it with
Cincinnati chili.
You make it with tomato sauce.
No, I meant juice.
I just use crushed tomatoes. Mine's a very thick chili.
Yeah, mine's not. Because Audrey doesn't like that way. That's why I have to add the beans, the crushed tomatoes, the chilies, the jalapenos,
welcome to
and
chili
then my
talk.
Extra beef all after I make the.
I'm going to make this argument by transferring one statistical fact that's been, I think, scientifically proven from one dish with pasta to another, is that chili is a thing that a lot of people like to make, and then they heat it up for a couple of days. And I believe it's been proven that like pasta tastes better the next day. So if you throw those noodles in day one, then that means those noodles are soaking up that chili flavor. So they're going to enhance your chili in the days to come. Yeah.
Yeah. And I freaking love Cincinnati chili.
You guys had privately,
I love it.
Audrey asked about cinnamon rolls with chili.
Yes, she did.
Was this a controversy? Did you not know how to eat the cinnamon rolls? Some people have an associated carbohydrate. There's a lot of Hoosiers that'll do a honey and peanut butter sandwich to go with their chili.
Elementary school, they served it with peanut butter sandwiches.
My go-to is the honey and peanut butter.
I would go Ritz crackers.
The deal was that Audrey took a trip to Fountain Acres Foods, which is the Amish grocery store in Fountain City, Indiana, and they bought a tray of cinnamon rolls. So she's like, we have these cinnamon rolls. We're having chili for dinner tonight. She's like, do you just you pour it on the cinnamon roll? Do you eat it like you would a sandwich? I was like, I don't know. I've never done it. So she's like, Jeremiah would know. So that's why she asked you.
I said what I would do is I would shred it like it's biscuits and gravy and throw it in.
So I kind of just, cinnamon rolls are spiral in nature. So I would peel a piece off and then I would scoop up some chili. It was very good. It was the ultimate sweet and savory experience.
I was going to say the other thing too, maybe would be to uncoil the cinnamon roll.
The whole thing.
And then just pour the chili over the top of it.
Oh, yeah.
Like a chili Manhattan, but with a cinnamon roll.
I love chili. We have it all year round too. We'll even eat it in summertime.
I didn't like it in school because I'm weird about cooked vegetables. The texture is kind of strange. I'm gonna admit, I'm just weird. It's not taste that gets me; it's texture. Like I bite into
you would like the chili I make for Audrey, which is just beef and elbow macaroni.
Oh yeah, that sounds amazing. Yeah, it's like when I bite into a tomato that's just like mushy. I'm just like, I can get through it as an adult, but as a kid, it would immediately trigger a very strong response.
Yeah, that's exactly
physically.
how she is. That's
and
funny.
so. But yeah, I'll eat it I can get through that as an adult, but yeah.
Well, this concludes Zach's final thought on chili that he didn't even have.
Yeah, he didn't ask for.
Dakota, you got anything for me?
Patreon,
or for the audience.
Patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty. Go support the show. We appreciate you all. I don't think I have anything. Shout out to USPS for finding my lost package and delivering it to me this week.
I haven't heard near as many stories about just dumpster fire shipping experiences.
Well,
this year.
Patron Andrew Bowman has a problem with his Christmas cards.
His map was hilarious.
Yeah,
it was
back and forth.
It showed.
I believe that the map shows that his Christmas cards are currently in India.
Is that where it showed? Map. But it showed that they were coming from Illinois. It showed that they were going to. It was a very strange thing, but yes, there were 2 dots on his map, and one of them said his wife's name in Brazil, not Brazil, Indiana. I don't think it just said Brazil, which is a bit concerning. But one of the dots was in central India, like in the middle of the Asian subcontinent. And you're like, ugh, good luck with that one, buddy. And that was his Christmas cards. So, yeah.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen. It's been spectacular. Every delivery we've had has been on time and well done. I think that that part has gotten sorted. Things are so much better than they were last year.
I had a package coming back last week that wasn't a gift. It was a truck part, and it was the first thing it hit was like, oh, it's going to be here January 18th. I was like, please tell me that is a joke. And then it's, oh, it's going to be here Monday. Oh. And I was kind of following it, and I was like, because I really wanted it over the weekend, and because I was putting some stuff on, kind of sorting out a vehicle, and I was like, hey, I wish it would get here Saturday. And it popped up, and it said, nope, it's going to be here Friday, and then it checked. And it said, nope, Monday again. I'm like, oh. And then it was like, oh, nope, it's going to be here Friday. And it showed up Saturday. So I was excited. Came back in like 3 days from Florida.
Not bad at all.
I have another shout out to give. Townsend Home Appliances in Newcastle, Indiana. They were fantastic. We've been dealing with dishwasher issues. I thought I had it fixed myself, but after a couple months, the issue came back. So we decided to buy a new dishwasher. And they were fantastic, super friendly service. It was easy to see what they had in stock on their website. Got there, knew exactly what we wanted, took a look around. They were super friendly. They basically told us everything up front, and then whenever we wanted to take it home, they brought it out to the car for us and loaded it up and sent us on our way. Yeah, they were great. Prices were super fair. Can't complain.
Very good. I was thinking about that today, of the number of small town places that we have that can, you can locally buy your furniture and your appliances from Myers in town. You can buy them from Townsend's. You can buy a lot of this stuff right in the community without having to go away and go further away. And it's because, once again, it's this same theme of us having enough houses, enough folks to support all of these different varieties of businesses that exist. Yeah, the big employers matter, but it's also having the population that says, hey, you know what, I need an HVAC guy, and you've got 5 or 6 really good quality local companies that can take care of somebody. It's not just the one that you can do, and you've got multiple high-end options. We've got great florists, we've got great mechanics in this town. We are on the verge of having so many damn coffee shops that it's unbelievable in this town, and I can't wait to see how that one shakes out. There's a rumor on the internet around the town Facebook boards that there's a Dunkin' Donuts, not not Dunkin' Donuts anymore. They just call themselves Dunkin', but there's maybe a Dunkin' coming to town.
Yeah, apparently we were wildly underserved with coffee shops. If there's enough market cap for all of these places,
Cafe Neo, we've got Jack's, the McCafe, a McDonald's, the Press,
Cafe Royale,
and then is it Scooters?
Yes,
Scooters Coffee, maybe Dunkin' coming to town. There's going to be coffee shops everywhere, theoretically.
Most caffeinated town in East Central Indiana.
And the old Starbucks remains empty. All right. That said, we need each other. Let's be nice to each other. It's Christmas time. Just show some grace to folks. And if somebody has a new idea, let's listen to it. Let's talk to each other. Let's try to find a way to live together. And by God, maybe we might have more than 50,000 people here in 2 or 3 years if we can do it right. 7 new developments coming to the community is not going to be easy for everybody. I think there's probably going to be some orange barrels. There's probably going to be some semis bringing materials to town. There's going to be some new people in town. But that's good. That's a good thing. Something to be excited about. And it might mean that your kids and your grandkids get a better education because there's more resources for the school. It might, that there might be a few short-term pains, but long-term we're gonna do better for it. So with that, thank you guys so very much. We will see you all next week.